If you don't listen to what I say, it's divorce. A husband who says such selfish things is someone I'd rather do without. I accept the divorce card handed to me by my husband, Matt. My husband looks pleased as he gazes at me. I don't even know what will happen from now on. My name is Evelyn. I'm 35 years old, married for 5 years, and live with my husband. Although I do want children, we haven't been blessed with any. We considered infertility treatment, but at my husband's insistence, we decided not to undergo treatment and leave it to nature. If it's not possible, living just the two of us as a married couple is also a life. I felt somewhat relieved because my husband said so. After getting married, my husband's parents passed away, one after another, and we were too busy to have time for treatment. Actually, my husband is a real dictator. We originally had a superior-subordinate relationship at work. He would openly call me a foolish wife in front of relatives and wouldn't hesitate to scold me mercilessly if there was any mistake. Since we had a superior-subordinate relationship even before we got married, that relationship has continued even after marriage. Saying such things might make my husband seem like a bad person, but he also has a kind side. When I was his subordinate, he would give me precise advice and guidance when I made mistakes or things didn't go well at work, and he would also praise and reward me. And above all, when my beloved grandfather passed away, and I was feeling down, it was my husband who encouraged me. We then started dating, and eventually got married. I resigned from my job, and now I'm a full-time housewife. Hey, Evelyn, I'm home. Welcome back. Today, my husband returned home after 9 p.m. as usual. As a manager, he has a heavy workload and is almost always working overtime. You worked late again today. Thank you for your hard work. As I pick up the shirt and socks my husband discarded, I speak to him. My husband slumped on the sofa and says nothing. This is also usual. He must be really tired. I start preparing dinner so that my husband can eat right away, and when I finish cooking and setting the table, he starts eating hungrily. After finishing his meal in about 10 minutes, he heads to the bathroom. I prepare a bath towel and underwear, then clean up after dinner. When he comes out of the bath, my husband heads straight to the bedroom. My husband has always been taciturn, but lately, perhaps due to his promotion, he seems more fatigued. For about a year now, we've hardly had any conversations as a couple. But I trust and love my husband. After all, he helped me when I was at rock bottom. When I was in junior high school, my father passed away. And when I was a first-year high school student, my mother passed away. After that, I was taken in and raised by my grandfather. My grandfather raised me as if I were his own daughter, showering me with love and care. I loved my kind and warm grandfather dearly. I wanted to repay him a lot once I got a job. With that in mind, after I got a job, I saved money and took my grandfather on trips and enjoyed delicious meals together. I wish that my grandfather could stay healthy and happy forever, as we enjoyed spending time together. However, 3 years after I started working, my grandfather passed away from lung cancer. I literally became an orphan. I knew that parting with my grandfather was inevitable, but I never expected it to happen so soon. I wanted to have more time with my grandfather. I wanted to be with him more. I spent every night crying in sadness. My husband, who was my supervisor at the time, noticed the change in me. He listened to me empathetically and said, "That must have been tough. You did well." I'm really glad he was my boss. My husband, who is usually strict and scary, spoke kind words to me at that time. I'm sure my husband is actually a kind person. I know that. So I want to continue to support my husband in the future. That's what I feel. On one such holiday afternoon, the home phone rang. Hello? Oh, it's you, Evelyn. The caller was my husband's brother, John. Oh, it's been a while. What's up? I need to talk to my brother for a bit. Is he there? Sure, just a moment. I called out to my husband, who was relaxing in the living room. It's for you on the phone. As expected, there was no response. My husband silently took the receiver. Hey, John, how are you? What's up? He went from having a grim expression just moments ago to smiling as soon as he answered his brother's call. My brother-in-law is 15 years younger than my husband. Due to the age difference, my husband is very fond of his younger brother. I heard that my brother-in-law, who got married to a lovely wife 2 years ago, has been living happily, but I wondered what happened. Huh, is that so? Are you okay with that? My husband's tone changed from earlier and became more serious. I wonder what's going on. I see. If there's anything troubling you, just tell me, okay? I'm your big brother, after all. My husband said that and hung up the phone. What's wrong? Is something the matter? It seems like my brother got laid off. Huh, laid off? I was shocked. I never expected something like that to happen. Well, I've heard that the company has been tough for a while, but I never thought it would lead to layoffs. My husband sat down on a chair with a dejected look. I couldn't hide my shock either. My brother-in-law has a completely different personality from my husband. He's kind, laid back, and always humble. He's shown me kindness as his sister-in-law, and even when my husband criticized me in front of relatives. It's not nice to say that. It's unfair to Evelyn. He'd protect me and say, I'm sorry, Evelyn. My brother's being rude. He always showed consideration for me. John's wife is also a similar person, and I had a good impression of them as a couple. For John and his wife, I wondered if there was anything I could do. I wanted to help them even a little bit. That was my intention. Hey, is there anything I can do to help? My husband looked at me intently. What do you mean, anything? Well, I was thinking if there's something I could do to cheer up your brother a little. My husband sighed at my words. Really are useless. You, who have never been out in the real world, wouldn't understand, but this is the toughest time for him. How can you casually say you want to do something when he's going through a hard time like this? Outsiders should stay out of it. Faced with such an aggressive attitude, I couldn't help but respond. It seems that what I said with good intentions touched a nerve with my husband. Am I not part of the family too, even though I'm an outsider? I say to my husband, squeezing the words out. Family, you're just my wife. You have nothing to do with my brother. Irrelevant. Outsider. His words pierced my heart. He had never been this aggressive before. The shock of my brother-in-law's layoff must have been that severe. Just because it was a small matter doesn't mean there aren't good and bad things to say. Anyway, don't meddle in unnecessary matters. With that, my husband went outside. Since then, he became even more domineering towards me. What's with you? Learn from my brother's wife. What were you doing at home today? Even though my brother's wife is at home, she keeps the house clean and does the chores properly. I've never seen such an unreasonable husband before. I wonder what could have happened. Can't you cut it out for once? What on earth is going on? As you can imagine, I argued with my husband. Shut up. Everything's a mess because of you. My husband starts saying nonsensical things. There's no reasoning with him. Gradually, our conversations cease and our relationship only deepens in silence. I have begun to doubt my relationship with my husband. One day, something unusual happened. My husband was sorting through belongings since morning. He was categorizing what to keep and what not to, filling up garbage bags like it's a major cleanup. What is he doing? But lately, there's been a chill between us. I didn't have the energy to engage, so I said nothing about my husband's actions. However, strangely, my husband initiated the conversation. Hey, what are you doing? Get ready, too. Huh? What? We're moving. We're giving this house to my brother and his wife. What? What are you talking about? Upon asking, I learned that my husband intends to hand over the house we, as a couple, live in to his struggling brother and his brother's wife. Hold on. Why such a selfish decision? Shut up. Don't defy me. My husband starts yelling at me loudly, but I don't back down. Didn't you say you wanted to do something for my brother? That's completely different, isn't it? Besides, if we hand this place over, where are we going to live? We can figure that out later. Right now, my brother needs help from me, his elder brother. My husband is entirely dictating the conversation. Besides, my brother-in-law is not the type to kick us out and take over someone else's house. So why? When I give my husband a suspicious look, he hands me something. If you're going to argue so much, you're no longer useful. Get divorced and leave right away. He throws the completed divorce papers at me. I'm taken aback by the sudden mention of divorce. My husband's unexpected actions stun me, but oddly, it feels strangely fitting. I didn't feel like I could continue being married to my husband. Perhaps this is a good opportunity. I silently pick up the divorce papers from the floor and fill them out. My husband looks at me with a smug expression. His face looks ridiculous, and I almost burst out laughing. After filling out the divorce papers, I bring up the topic with my husband. This house isn't yours, is it? This house is the house I spent time in with my grandfather, and the land belonged to my late grandfather, both of which I inherited, right? Did you forget? When I say this, my husband looks dumbfounded. Even though it's in my name, how are you planning to transfer it? How? I press my husband for answers. Well... My husband suddenly becomes flustered. Could it be you forgot? Before we got married, didn't you move into my house because you thought paying rent was wasteful? It's in my name, so I've been paying the property tax for the house and land every year. And you haven't contributed a penny, have you? That's... Well, it doesn't matter anymore. Once I submit this notice, the divorce will be final, and we'll be strangers. Wait a minute. Let's talk this over. Calm down. That's my line. Just filing for divorce so easily? Are you always this selfish until the end? Unbelievable. I vented all the accumulated frustrations at him. I loved my husband, and I thought he loved me too. But maybe I was mistaken. I never thought our marriage would end so easily. Emily, wait. It's a misunderstanding. Let's talk. Talk about what? Wasn't it you who first brought up divorce? I'm tired of you. Saying this, I carefully put away the completed divorce papers. It's a holiday today, so I'll submit them to the city hall first thing tomorrow morning. My husband is lying on the floor in a daze. This can't be true. How? He mutters incoherently. Without sympathy, I say, this is my house. Leave right away. Once the papers are filed, we're strangers. I can't live under the same roof as a stranger. Despite my husband's resistance until the last moment, I remained steadfast. Because he's just a stranger now, there's no need to hesitate. Even when my husband cried and clung to me, I felt nothing. And so my husband left as if nothing happened. Our divorce spread like wildfire throughout his company. My husband started being looked at with suspicion. Details about the divorce and my husband's behavior throughout our marriage circulated as gossip, and he lost his standing in the company. I wonder who spread the rumors. I only answered what I was asked by my husband's colleagues and subordinates, nothing more. And about 6 months after the divorce, on my way back from the real estate agents, I unexpectedly ran into someone I didn't want to see. It was my ex-husband. Well, he's my ex now, but it seemed like he was waiting for me to come out of the real estate agent's office. It felt creepy. Even if I tried to ignore him, my husband kept following me. Fed up, I reluctantly agreed to talk. Stop it. If you have something to say it and leave. Evelyn, I've always hated you. Huh? What's he suddenly talking about? I learned that my husband had thought I was responsible for his brother's layoff. Huh? Why would it be my fault? Since I married you, bad things have been happening. Come to think of it, after marrying my husband, his parents passed away and he got injured. But his father had been hospitalized before we married, and his mother was always frail. Furthermore, my husband's fall was his own fault for not paying attention. Nevertheless, my husband seemed to think that I was the cause of his misfortune. So you thought all the misfortune was my fault. I always thought you were just clumsy whenever you acted badly, but you were just shifting the blame, weren't you? I was just amazed by my husband. He just blames others and is really selfish, and without any evidence. and yet he managed to hold a managerial position in his company. I worried that his subordinates might also be criticized without reason. When did this reliable boss become such a person? And I couldn't help but feeling a little pathetic about being married to such a person. But even after divorcing you, bad things keep happening to me. What bad things? When I asked, my husband rolled up his sleeves. His skin was visibly blistered and injured from burns. Actually, 3 months ago, my apartment caught fire, and that's not all. I keep losing my wallet and making mistakes at work. Plus, my brother has been cold lately, and I can't reach him. So even after divorcing me, the misfortune continues. Of course it does. Frankly, even if I heard such stories, I couldn't feel sorry for him or pity him. After all, everything was his doing, and it had nothing to do with me. Please, Evelyn, come back. I can't make it without you. What? Haven't we been living as husband and wife until now? And when you were working, didn't I take care of a lot of things for you? And when your grandfather died, didn't I help you a lot? I felt repulsed by the man standing before me, trying to guilt-trip me. All your misfortunes are your own doing, aren't they? Maybe you should reflect on yourself a little. Try to stop blaming others for everything. Saying this, I walked away from my husband. Evelyn, wait, Evelyn, Evelyn. My husband called my name, trying to stop me. But pretending to be a stranger, I disappeared into the crowd. About a week after the divorce, I received a message from my brother-in-law. Well, he's my ex-brother-in-law now. Sis? No. It's just Evelyn now, right? It's about my brother. According to what John told me, it was my husband's decision alone to offer the house we lived in to his brother. John and his wife didn't know anything about it. Matt, he's always had this tendency to be showy, so I've always been worried. His attitude towards you, Evelyn, was terrible, and I always felt bad watching him with you. He's a really kind person. Why are brothers so different? I'm not sure if I should say this, but I think I'm glad you got divorced. I hope you find happiness, too. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. I was happy to hear those words. And John soon found a job and seemed to be able to manage his life somehow. I'm really glad. I've been thinking of keeping my distance from my brother. Surely John must have had his own thoughts on this matter. He says he plans to gradually cut ties with Matt. This is why my husband has lost contact with his own brother. Having divorced his wife and become estranged from his beloved brother, my husband has truly become all alone. I hope he realizes the gravity of the mistakes he's made someday. But before that, I need to vanish from my husband's sight. That day, when I met my husband again, I had signed a contract with a real estate agent to rent out the house I inherited from my grandfather. That house is too big for me. However, I can't bring myself to let go of that house filled with memories of my grandfather. If possible, I want someone who truly wants to live there to reside in it. I'll change my phone number, move to a new place, and completely sever ties with my husband. I'm only 35 years old, and my life is far from over.